She was born into a world that did not imagine her future. A small girl in Brooklyn during a time when women were expected to remain quiet, expected to support, not lead, expected to follow rules written by others. Her name was Ruth. She was not dramatic. She was not loud. She did not demand space. She observed. She listened. She remembered. She watched her mother work endlessly. A woman who believed deeply in self-reliance. A woman who taught her daughter something powerful without speeches. Never depend on others to define your worth. Never wait for permission to matter. That lesson stayed with her, even when the world tried to forget her presence. In school, Ruth learned quickly that intelligence alone did not earn respect. She excelled. She studied. She absorbed everything placed before her. Yet she was often the only woman in the room. Sometimes the only one who believed she belonged there. When she entered law school, she entered hostile territory. Seats were limited. Women were unwelcome. She was told openly that her place should have gone to a man who would one day support a family, as if her ambition was a mistake. She did not argue. She did not protest. She did not demand fairness. She worked. She studied longer. She prepared harder. She mastered the law not to defeat others, but to understand it completely. Because to her the law was not theoretical. It was not distant. It was the difference between opportunity and exclusion, between dignity and invisibility. She graduated at the top of her class, and still the doors stayed closed. Law firms refused her. Judges declined her. Opportunities vanished the moment they saw her gender. The moment they saw she was also a mother. The message was clear. Talent was not enough. So she did not wait. She found another way in. She taught. She researched. She wrote. She built her understanding slowly, deliberately, patiently. While others chased recognition, she chased clarity. While others raised their voices, she refined her reasoning. She began to see something deeply flawed. The law claimed neutrality, but it was written almost entirely by men, interpreted by men, applied through a narrow lens. Women were restricted. Men were restricted too. Gender roles trapped everyone. So she chose a strategy no one expected. She would argue for equality, not just for women, but for everyone. She took cases where men were harmed by gender discrimination. Widowers denied benefits. Fathers denied caregiving rights. Men punished for roles society forced upon them. Each case revealed the same truth, that inequality weakens justice, that discrimination damages all sides. Judge by judge, courtroom by courtroom, precedent by precedent. She reshaped the law, not with slogans, not with anger, but with logic so precise it became impossible to dismiss. Some judges resisted. Some hesitated. But many listened. She understood something rare. That lasting change requires patience. That progress moves slowly. But it moves. When she was appointed to the Supreme Court, she was not young. She was not dramatic. She was not intimidating. But she was ready. She carried decades of exclusion in her memory. Every rejection, every closed door, every moment she was underestimated. On the bench, she became known for her dissents. Measured, controlled, devastating. When the court turned away from equality, she did not shout. She wrote. Her dissents spoke to the future. She planted arguments, knowing they would one day grow. She believed dissents were seeds, waiting for another generation. And that generation came. Young people read her opinions. They shared her words. They quoted her sentences. She became something she never sought. A symbol. They called her Notorious RBG. Not because she chased fame, but because she refused to disappear. A woman who aged without apology. A woman who worked through illness, through pain, through loss. Cancer did not stop her. Surgeries did not stop her. Grief did not stop her. She believed showing up mattered. That presence itself was resistance. Every time she sat on that bench, she reminded the nation that equality is not a trend. It is a promise. She never claimed perfection. She believed in progress. She believed justice required discipline, that courage could be quiet, that strength did not need volume. Her legacy lives beyond the laws she changed. It lives in girls who see wider futures, in boys who learn equality is not loss, in lawyers who understand patience can reshape systems. She taught the world that leadership does not require shouting, that resistance can be written carefully, that endurance can outlast power. When she passed, the nation mourned, not just a judge, but a reminder that one person armed with clarity, with conviction, with unwavering resolve, can bend history. Her chair is empty, but her words remain. In classrooms, in courtrooms, in conversations that refuse to move backward. Ruth Bader Ginsburg never waited for permission. She never demanded applause. She simply did the work, day after day, argument after argument, line after line, trusting that truth written clearly would outlive noise. After her words settled into the world, the work did not stop, because legacy is not a monument. It is motion. Even as her chair stood empty, the arguments she planted continued to rise. Quietly, relentlessly, courts began to echo ideas once ignored. Language from her dissents appeared again, in briefs, in opinions, in rulings that leaned forward instead of back. What she wrote for the future became the present. Students studied her not as myth, but as method. They learned that change is built, not announced, that patience can be sharper than rage, that preparation can defeat power, that systems bend when pressed consistently, not violently. Young lawyers copied her precision, her discipline, her refusal to waste words. They learned how she framed injustice, not as emotion, but as imbalance, as contradiction, as failure of logic. She taught them that equality is persuasive when it is undeniable. Outside courtrooms, her image traveled further than she ever imagined. On shirts, on posters, on murals painted by people who never met her, but felt known by her. They saw in her a permission to age without shrinking, to speak without performing, to resist without hardening. Women stopped apologizing for ambition. Men questioned rules they never chose. Children grew up seeing justice wear a small woman's face. She became proof that influence does not fade with softness, that authority does not require fear. Even criticism could not erase her. Some tried to reduce her to a trend, a nickname, a caricature. But trends vanish. And she did not, because beneath every symbol was substance. Every sentence she wrote was anchored in study, in restraint, in responsibility. She believed the court was not a battlefield, but a foundation, and foundations are built slowly, brick by brick, case by case. She knew setbacks would come, that progress would reverse, that rights once recognized could be questioned again. Still, she trusted the record. She trusted that history favors those who write clearly, who argue honestly, who leave a map behind. Her life became that map, a reminder that change does not need permission, that power does not need volume, that presence can outlast opposition. She showed that justice is not fast, but it is stubborn, that when truth is documented, it waits, and when the time is right, it returns. Her voice still speaks, not in speeches, but in reasoning, not in outrage, but in evidence. And every time someone chooses fairness over fear, balance over bias, law over habit, her work continues, not because she demanded remembrance, but because she earned permanence. Ruth Bader Ginsburg did not disappear. She multiplied, in minds trained to question, in hands ready to build, in futures that refuse to narrow. She did not chase history. She prepared it, and history, eventually, followed.